Hey, 10-minute daily reality check, Thursday, July the 20th. What the fuck is going on in Minneapolis? What's wrong with the police in Minneapolis? What's wrong with the Americans with their guns? Look, I'm not going to sit here and not going to talk about anti-gun I am and how everybody has a right to bear arms and all that other crap, but come on now. A woman calls the police to report a possible sexual assault in an alley near her home. 2 police officers responded and one of them killed her. She died of a gunshot wound to the abdomen. Police still haven't explained how or why the shooting occurred. I mean, seriously? What is going on? What is going on in this world? This is crazy. It's ridiculous. A woman should not be killed by a police officer for reporting something behind her home. This wasn't a bad neighbor at all, but yet, Minneapolis Police, second time in a year, they've been in, hot water. Last time was shooting somebody in a car for no apparent reason at all. Our country, the reality of it is, for those of you who live in America, we just love to have our guns, don't we now? We're always about protecting ourselves, protecting our land, protecting our house, protecting ourselves. Joe McKnight, remember him? Yeah, he got into a traffic altercation in New Orleans. And down in New Orleans, there's parishes down there. And each parish has its own law. And according to this parish where Joe McKnight was shot in, originally they let the shooter go because he was protecting his automobile. We live in a country where people just feel the need to protect themselves. It's American way, the right to bear arms. I'm going to bear arms. I'm going to shoot first and ask questions later. Shame on you, America. This innocent woman died for no reason at all, except, she was reporting something that she thought that was going on, trying to protect somebody. If we can't trust the police, who can we trust? If the popo comes and we get shot, who can we trust? It's really getting out of control. And it makes me sad. We do things to each other almost like, we just don't give a shit about one another anymore. I got an analogy here. Your life is loading. Hold on as that circle of doom spins around and out of control. Because that's what it feels like sometimes. That our whole lives are out of control. We date on apps we have no control over. People don't talk to one another anymore. They stare at phones. The police come to basically check out something that's going on in an alleyway and shoot the person that called, a woman wearing her pajamas. It's almost like that little circle of death, that wheel that spins inside a Mac is telling you, we don't know what color it's going to land on because we might get shot. Or hell, you might be able to date somebody, or you might get ghosted, or somebody might ignore you. Who the hell knows? We've become a very fear-based society. You spin on one thing, you lose half your fortune. Oh, that's divorce. Forget about that because all our systems are so off. You spin another one, it's almost like Wheel of Fortune. You spin and the police come and kill you. You spin and somebody ignores you you're trying to talk to. You spin and you get attitude because you didn't tip the person for takeout food. You spin and you marry the wrong person, and then you spin again and you've been married for a few years and they feel like they're entitled to, most of your money. It's just the way life seems to go nowadays. We're all just spinning a wheel. It's the same wheel we're watching as the Mac is going. It's amazing all the lies and all the slander that takes place. I don't understand why we all feel the need to fuck one another. And we're not even fucking each other. My motto has always been, if you're going to fuck me, let me come. But in today's modern world, we seem to be living a world where we just feel the need to be able to do our own thing. It's our whole culture. The police shoot a woman in pajamas. People get divorced at rapid rates. They get divorced and they think they're entitled to all the other person's money because they've been together for 13 hours. We date like we're spinning a wheel of fortune. Well, let me see. Blonde, brunette, redhead, let me see. Wait a second, they're all going to ghost anyway. And talking about ghosting, well, we don't really give a fuck that there's another human being on the other end. All we care about is going on to the next thing because we want to spin the wheel every single day. Life has become a wheel of fortune. The millennials walk around and, well, they want to get rich by putting in the least amount of effort. Why? And I'm not making fun of you millennials. It's because you've seen people do it. You all got a story about a friend who, well, hit it big on YouTube, doing practical jokes or being a talking dog friend. You've seen ridiculous amount of money make from companies that barely even exist because they were bought out by another company that wanted to take the proprietary software and turn it into their own. So I don't blame millennials for thinking that they can spin the wheel of fortune and make a lot of money. That would be my attitude as well. The women out there that believe they're entitled to a man's money because they spent a few years with that man and because their vagina gave birth to a child or two. They believe now that they don't have to work at all, that they can just continue to use the man for the perpetual ATM that they believe he is. No morals. People lie to get what they want. They manipulate to get what they want. And as a matter of fact, most people online market to get people to manipulate people in relationships. The 3 simple tips to get any man to fall in love with you. Well, let me fucking know what those are. The 4 things you need to do to create sexual attraction with any woman. By barely opening your mouth. By just standing there and showing up. Well, I'm going to show you how to do that. It's amazing. We've been marketed a bunch of lies. We've been marketed a bunch of everything. And we've become a society that is fear-based, running around, taking what we can get from other people. But what are you going to win? For all of you that spin the wheel and you think it gives you the right to fuck somebody over, what are you going to win knowing that you fucked somebody over? For those of you who took and took and took from your daughter or son's husband or wife, you took emotional, you took mental, you took physical energy, and then you took their money. Who are you really fucking over? Your kid's future? How do you win if you do things like that? How do you win when you just don't show up for a date? How do you win when you misrepresent yourself online? America's been misrepresenting themselves for a long, long time. 2 paranoid police officers were terrified in Minneapolis because a woman in pajamas were talking to them in an alleyway. Yeah, that's a reason for shooting. Fear has run rampant in today's world. We're going to shoot and ask questions later. We're going to screw people over. We're going to flake on dates, and we're not going to have any respect for anybody when they talk to us. We're just going to bury our heads in our phone, and we're going to continue to hide. And we're going to continue to spin the wheel of fortune in our lives. Spin the wheel and see what comes up on that wheel. Spin it and keep spinning it. Because the reality is we live in a self-absorbed world. Last night I was out at a friend's house for dinner with my daughter and her friends. My ex incessantly texting me to make sure that I get my daughter back at 6:30, right on the button, because sleep was so difficult. God forbid, I was 15 minutes late because my daughter was trying to digest her food and not swallow it whole. Control. We want control. We want to control everything in our lives. Our kids, our feelings, our emotions. Our society just doesn't give a shit about anybody else. We got to micromanage our lives because, God forbid, something happens when we spin the wheel, something that's out of control, something that we have no control over. So we control our children, we control our thoughts, we're all fear-based. So full of fear that a woman in pajamas can't even feel safe anymore, talking to police in the middle of the night. We overparent our kids, so our kids start to feel paranoid as can be. As I was sitting in my friend's living room, I was talking to his wonderful parents and listening to them and tell the stories about how things are and how things used to be. I'm not a used to be kind of person. I'm not going to be somebody who's going to trash our current thought process. But I got to tell you something. We need to really stop getting over on people and start treating people really well again. This me that I've talked about over and over again on the podcast doesn't work anymore. It's amazing how many people will look in the mirror and say, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of them all? And they just sing, me. Well, here's the reality. We need to make our world a safer place so we can actually be kinder and more appreciative of each other. Kinder, more gentle. Appreciate the things that people have done. Because if someone's done something good to you and you want more and more and more, well, guess what? That person's never going to do anything for you ever again. We need to appreciate all the things people have done for us. How about a day of gratitude today? How about a day going around and actually talking to people and making them feel safe again being out in public? Not always spinning that Apple Mac computer wheel of death and not knowing where it's going to land. Appreciate people. Honor them. And be in gratitude of your life. Because every turn we make now, we literally feel like something's going to happen out of our control. So we think if we look at our phones, everything will be fine. Look, there's a rant today. 10-minute daily reality check out. This has been a pretty deep week. Maybe tomorrow we'll punch it up a little bit with something a little more comedic heading into the weekend. But man, I'm fucking tired of everybody being so fearful of one another and everybody out for themselves. Spread the love. David Wygant for 10-minute daily reality check out.